Verbs and conjugation. The verb is the word in the sentence that tells an action, what a person or thing does. Or, instead of an action, it can tell the state of the subject, linking the subject to a word or phrase that describes or defines it. But in addition to that, the same verb can have different forms depending on whether you're talking about what one person does, or whether you're talking about what more than one person does. This is called subject-verb agreement in person and number. The verb can also have different forms to tell when something happens or happened, present or past. This is what's called the tense of the verb. The process of changing a verb form for person, number, tense, and so on is called conjugation. In English, to conjugate a regular verb in the present tense, you start with the stem. And to tell the person, you add a subject or subject pronoun. And when the subject is third person, you also add s to the verb stem. To show that something is past, in addition to a subject pronoun, you add ed to a regular verb. In Spanish, to conjugate a verb, you take the verb's stem and you add one of a number of different endings. Unlike English, where it's mostly the subject or subject pronoun that changes during conjugation, in Spanish there is a different verb ending for each subject. Verbs are divided into three main categories, depending on what is known as the thematic vowel, either A, E, or I. Each of these thematic vowel categories has a different, though similar set of verb endings that tell person, number, tense, and so on. So, for an A verb, many verb endings begin with A. For an E verb, many verb endings begin with E. And for an I verb, many verb endings begin with I. Now, it doesn't mean that all endings begin with that vowel. It's just the vowel that defines the verb. To figure out which category a verb belongs to, A, E, or I, look for what's called the verb's infinitive form. The infinitive is the form that tells the verb's meaning without telling a subject or tense. In English, the infinitive is usually to plus a verb. In Spanish, the verb's infinitive form always ends in R, and the thematic vowel before the infinitive ending always tells the verb's category.